Hello again, and welcome back to what is supposed to be another one of our sessions. And that 101 today really is so much more relaxed from its notebooks, no philosophy. And it's not going to be a cooking show either, even though I am actually cooking. Um, here's what I'd like to tell you. Oh, by the way, I've already cut the onion, so there's not going to be any crying. I hate it when I have to do the onions. I don't really hate it, but it's like, you know what? I'm going to give it everything I've got, and I'm going to cry for all of yesterday. And then it's gone. And then onion goes in the soup. So this is not about cooking, definitely not. Certainly not about crying. If you want to cry for no reason, or for a bloody good reason, try to put contacts in your eyes first thing in the morning. That will give you something to cry about. It's Sunday today in Perth, and having coffee, another coffee. What can I tell you? I was actually thinking, what am I going to talk to you about tomorrow? Because I am kind of torn between so many things, and I just figured the other video that I made, and I told you a little bit about Schopenhauer and a little bit about synchronicity and causality and dreams. Speaking of synchronicity, while I was cutting my onion and crying this morning, I also decided that this can't be in any way formal and posh, and I can't just be sitting on the carpet and telling you all about my books. So I figured, what if I share with you certain things that I've already read and I kind of already know, but I want to mix and match them. I want to make a video about the theory of mind. We all have a mind, and believe it or not, the theory of mind actually applies to all of us. In developmental psychology, it's said that around about the 3 years old, kids start figuring out that whatever they think, it's not the same as everyone else. Kids start figuring out from the age of 3 that someone else has other thoughts, other ideas, other everything. And because of this whole theory of mind and how I think, I'm thinking synchronicity and how mind has a funny way of putting things together. I want to mix for you not just the theory of mind. I want to bring that to you together with therapy. Well, it's a technique that I kind of really got hooked on when I first learned about it. It's a Gestalt therapy, the Gestalt technique. And the Introduction to Psychology book that I showed you the other day actually gives a bit more information on the pre-Gestalt smart minds and clever people that came up with all of these principles and ideas and the kind of science and research and experiments they had to go through to arrive to the conclusion, or to arrive to the natural conclusion, that our minds, and keep in perspective that theory of mind is called different people, different minds. Our minds function quite similarly, and they put together information and things from 4 little pieces of puzzle. Our mind can make more than that. It's called, within the Gestalt current and trend and the psychology side of things, It's well and truly a formation technique. Mind configures. Every mind picks and chooses. Think of it this way: you're looking at me, and your mind perhaps looks at the fridge behind. I love the quote there. My hair, the color of my dress. You've already configured this information. You put it together about me. And this, it dawned on me while I was cutting the parsnip and frying the onion earlier. We configure things in our minds so differently. We think we know each other, we think we understand each other, but the configurations that happen in our intellect, in our mind, in our cognitive functions put together, and everything else that we're trying to study and understand, it's just mesmerizing to realize that in the end of the day, when it comes to relationships, for example, when I say that we configure everything differently, it's not that I configure things differently from you. That's a given. That's by default of the theory of mind. We configure things differently ourselves. What I think is valid and completely makes sense to me right now and today, it won't make as much sense tomorrow. So, you know, when we say we assume things, well, our mind fills in the gaps, and we form these pictures, these concepts, these ideas, these thoughts, actually from incomplete information. We simply configure it the way it makes sense to us. Not only the way it makes sense to us, the way we want it to make sense. So, in the big scheme of things, what we're actually doing, pretty much like cooking, that's the easiest example. So it doesn't matter if you're a chef or someone like me that hopes for the best, because I've only done this twice before, this kind of thing. I am kind of good cook. The point is, what I was trying to say, your mind configures things the same way you would try to cook something, either from what you remember your grandma made it like, or perhaps, and that's even better, you're having your recipe book there. You think, I went to school, I learned this, I know this shit, it's written right in front of me, and you're doing it, and guess what? You follow the recipe, and you go, I'm a good person. Why is this happening to me? Why my soup tastes like pepper? Because you put too much, because of whatever reason. Just like cooking, sometimes we get it right. Sometimes we move into this blend of situations and configuration that actually not only that suits us, that gives us, puts us so close to the reality of the other. But other times, even if you follow a recipe, even if you're a chef, I bet you ask someone that is really good at cooking and they will tell you they still throw things away because it didn't come out as planned. So, bottom line is, what I wanted to tell you, Sunday morning, coffee, after crying for onions and contact lenses, all you can do is the best you can, or hope for the best. And I'm hoping for a really delicious soup. And I'll talk to you tomorrow again a bit more about the theory of mind, Gestalt, and the law